Hi everyone, I'm Abhay Talreja and today I bring to you a little bit detail on getting to know PSM-1 certification. What is PSM-1 certification? What is Scrum? How do you get about PSM-1 and any motivations and any resources that you would need? I will cover all of it in this video. So let's get started. So as you can see, there is a blog that I have written. It's called Introduction to PSM-1 Certification. So primarily everything that I'm going to cover in this video is almost out here. So you can go through that blog. You can read about it. And in fact, there is a presentation that I'm going to use in this particular session. And that presentation can be found in the same article out here, where you can just go next and see the presentation. This particular video will also reside on the same blog article. So the idea that I'm going along with is, all my content is out here as well as the video and the presentation. So anything that you need to know about a topic is available to you at one destination. So let's get started and get to know what PSM-1 certification is all about. But before we get there, let's understand what Scrum is, because PSM-1 is nothing but Professional Scrum Master certification. So let's understand what Scrum is. Scrum is an agile framework for managing complex projects. Now this is just a one-liner, but agility in software development or even in product development is very simple. You should be able to adapt and also make sure you make the best product and with the highest speed and quality possible. Scrum has emphasis on iterative progress through small and cross-functional team. Now there is a lot of information packed in this statement. So iterative progress is basically making progress every day. I'll give you a very simple example. I created teachingagile.com. I'm not sure when you're going to watch this video, but I started with a single article at one point. So I made progress by writing multiple articles and then moved towards creating video and presentations, right? So the same thing applies in Scrum. You are going to make a product or, complete your project, but it has to start somewhere. And so you start making iterative progress. The idea of Scrum is to have small teams that are cross-functional, so they can basically complement each other and have each other's support wherever needed. Now, what are the benefits? Well, as you understood by now, it increases your productivity, because the ultimate goal for any project management is to have better productivity. It improves your quality because now you're more focused on smaller iterations that you have. Well, very obvious, right? You're going to make smaller iterations so you can completely put your attention onto one particular problem to solve or multiple smaller problems to solve during an iteration, right? So it definitely improves your quality. And it also gives you flexibility. Now you're iterating in steps. So sometimes there are changes that comes in which you cannot adapt if you've already decided how you're going to act on. But making smaller iterations gives you flexibility to bring a change into an iteration and not impact the rest of your structure. Similarly, if you follow all of this, you will always have the highest customer satisfaction. Ultimately, that is the goal that we should always strive for, right? My dad used to always say, customer is the boss. So make sure that when you follow Scrum, your customers are also happy. And the last thing is, when all of this comes together, you will always have an enhanced collaboration because the team is cross-functional. They understand each other's work. They are trying to improve each other with every small iteration. When you read about Scrum a little bit more or get to know Scrum more, you'll understand how that is achieved. So it lets you to have better collaboration within your team. And anybody who has a great team can execute better projects. What is PSM-1 certification? Well, PSM-1 certification is a program offered by scrum.org. PSM-1 is designed to validate your knowledge and understanding of the Scrum framework. It really doesn't matter what role you're going to be working on in any Scrum team, but as long as you're going to be an individual who practices or follows Scrum in their project management, this is a certification that will definitely add feathers to your hat. And why did I decide to, pursue PSM-1 for my students? Well, very simple. The exam is online, so you really don't have to be available, at a particular location to give your examination. You can practically go and give your exam from your couch. The next thing is the study resources are plenty. There is a lot of information, and sometimes there's a side effect to it because if there is a lot of information, you don't know which one's the correct one, right? So that's always the complication. But the resources are plenty and available. The best thing is you don't have to go to a classroom. We already said the exam is online. But if you're appearing for a certified Scrum Master, you also have to do some classroom hours. So it gets a little challenging because now you have to work with an instructor, work on their schedule, if you're not in the same location, travel, etc. The cost of the exam is $200 in US. In your location, it might be different, but that's the beauty, right? It is always relative. The certification that is also widely accepted in the industry. So if you're a certified Scrum Master, people know that you understand Scrum. So when they get you into their teams, they don't have to spend time on educating you. You already come in with an asset of yours, which is you understand how the team will operate, and there is a structure to it. And that's where PSM-1 plays a very important role. The next thing we're going to talk about, what is the exam structure? PSM-1 has about 80 questions that you have to take within a span of 60 minutes. So you will get less than 1 minute for each particular question. The questions are going to be multiple choice, where you will have, A, B, C, D. You can select one of the options. It could be a true or false, just two options. Or it could be select 2 out of 5, or, select which are the right answers out of 4 or 5. That way you'll have to select 1 or 2, and that gives you the right answer. And these are the ones which are most challenging, because you need to make sure you get the correct 2 out of the 5, because now your understanding needs to be very thorough. And what is the exam based on and the difficulty level? They don't want you to fail. They want you to pass. They want you to clear, but only if you have the knowledge. So the idea they have is they'll put some real world scenarios and use cases in front of you, and how you will act as a certified Scrum Master. If you're a professional Scrum Master, you need to make sure that, you follow the framework and you work according to the framework. As long as you do that, you can easily pass the test. How do you prepare for PSM-1? Well, the most important thing is get to know the Scrum Guide. Scrum Guide is everything for you. You have to make sure that you've read it at least 3 times is what I recommend my students to do, so that you've understood everything thoroughly. The problem is when you read it first time or second time, you don't get all the details that are, packed in that Scrum Guide. It is a very small guide, but every word has a very detailed meaning or very important meaning. So make sure that you read Scrum Guide at least 3 times before you do anything else. Make sure you take Scrum Open Assessment exam, and you can take that multiple times. Scrum.org provides you options to take Scrum Open Assessment test, and you can appear for it as many times as you want, and try to score about 100% every time. If you consistently are getting 100%, which means you've understood the Scrum overall as a framework, and when you appear for the PSM-1 certification, you should be able to easily get 85%. The next thing is find a buddy, a responsible buddy, so that you can exchange notes, talk about things, learn from each other, and also put each other's commitment on point and, encourage each other. Then read a lot about Scrum. There are a lot of details I've added on teachingagile.com, and there are other resources on the internet. So make sure you go and read about Scrum as much as possible. I'll say put like 15 minutes a day to read about it and know a particular topic. That way, if you keep on reading about Scrum, Agile, your thought process will always start working in that direction. And there are other websites that also allow you to take mock tests and questions. For example, on teachingagile.com, I have an article, and at the end of the article, I usually give in a quiz which has like 4 or 5 questions related to the article. So if you've read the article, you've understood the concepts, I will have a quiz that if you clear, you can be confident that the knowledge that you gain from the article stays with you. So make sure you practice that as well. Let's recap. So we understood what Scrum is. We understood the importance of Scrum. Again, it's a very big topic. There are different videos, but at least we touched the surface of it. We understood the PSM-1 exam structure. We went through the preparation tips. The encouragement is something I'm going to give you now. Whenever you get into something, make sure you're committed and make sure you have a study plan. Be practical and be consistent in your approach, and try to engage with the community as much as possible. The next thing I always get is the common questions people have around this topic. So let me answer those, right? I already covered some of it, like what are some effective study resources for PSM-1. Scrum Guide is your go-to resource. Then there is Open Assessment, the blogs and articles just like mine, or video courses which are mine or something that you can find on Udemy, Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, etc. Right? So you can just go through those. And what are the next steps on getting after getting the PSM-1? Well, the first thing is you need to start practicing Scrum. So try to find a project structure where you can implement Scrum or be a part of it, so that you understand the intricacies of how Scrum works. Grow your knowledge there. See a practical example or in action. And then once you're there, you're ready, you can go and appear for PSM-2 or PSM-3. Or you can also start mentoring your colleagues about what Scrum is. So it's completely up to you on what you do. That pretty much brings us to the end of the lecture. And one quote that I always like, which is, the journey of 1,000 miles always starts with one step. I started teaching Agile with just one article, and look where it has come, right? I'm not saying it's complete, it's perfect, but I am growing, I'm making progress. So make sure you take that first step. Get to know Scrum, get to know Agile, and try to put it to practice. And if you're looking for more resources, tips, techniques, you can always reach out to teachingagile.com or just send me an email, abhay@teachingagile.com, and someone from my team will get back to you. That being said, you're watching this video on YouTube, make sure you like, share, and comment on this video and let me know what worked for you or what did not, and how I can improve this video so that I can make it better on the next one. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.